Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Testifying as a tweener, Valerie Torella, Pacific Gas and Electric Company. Want to echo my colleague. The author's done a lot of work here, and we removed our opposition, but are still reviewing the bill in the previous committee, Utilities and Commerce. Appreciate the analysis, and we would agree that we don't support specific carve-outs based on geography or technology, but we are disappointed that the integration cost adder language adopted in the Utilities and Commerce Committee is not showing up today in the adopted version of the bill. There is a value to our customers in procuring a diverse portfolio. And part of that value is taking into account the cost of integration of renewables. We think that the consideration of these costs could level the playing field in our request for offers, our RFOs. So as pointed out in the analysis and by the previous witness, we acknowledge there is an ongoing process at the PUC. We don't wish to prejudge that outcome, but we would ask, we would say that there is some value in having some certainty that the work be completed, and possibly some direction from the legislature could help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Chairman, members, thank you. Ben Lubon on behalf of the Algal Biomass Organization. It's great to see that algae is in the bill. One thing I'd like to highlight and place on the record is that Scientific America wrote an article on the energy water nexus in 2008 that we're in a drought. The Great Colorado Basin has been in a drought from 17 to 40 years. Those turbines at Hoover Dam may not turn if it gets down to 17%, so I think you need to put that on your radar. On the algae side, I'm concerned that some of my fellow advocates are saying that 33% is enough on the RPS. Low-hanging fruit of solar and wind are involved. However, bioenergy has not had its time because it's been a promise and it's starting to come to fruition. So I thank you, and please move this bill forward.
Thank you. Any other witnesses? Witnesses in opposition?
Thank you. Melissa Cortez-Roth on behalf of the California Wind Energy Association. First, I do want to acknowledge the work that the author has done. The bill has come a long way. While we do still have an oppose, we are now at an oppose unless amended with a very specific concern about the bill that's in print today. And that's with the stakeholder group. Within that stakeholder group, there is a requirement that they analyze the effectiveness of the integration value. The stakeholder group is done through the Energy Commission. The integration value is something that is an ongoing proceeding at the PUC. So we are a little concerned with the idea of one agency second-guessing the work of another, especially as those proceedings are ongoing. If that piece were removed, we would be able to remove our opposition. We do look forward to working this final issue out with the author's office. Again, they have been, they've come a long way on the bill and have had a very open policy with us and working with us on the issues we've had with the bill. So with that, we do look forward to working with the author.
Thanks. Any other witnesses in opposition? If not, let me say that Assemblyman, most folks, if you asked them what your district and mine had in common, would they probably say not much, but there's probably a lot more than people think. First of all, we have some of the poorest counties in the state, and in the case of Imperial and Lake, they're right smack up against also the two of the largest geothermal fields in the world, and in the state of California, where we have one of the highest GPS goals, and presumably one that's going to be increased and raised in the future. So I, first of all, had a very productive meeting with the author, and I'm very supportive of the interrelationship between geothermal and the other problems that exist on the ground. in the Salton Sea and in Imperial and Riverside counties, and understand that, partly that was the result of the state and its actions, and so I'm supportive of his efforts to try to address those. But I also, and I think these amendments to some degree address it, but we need to also, beyond this bill, have a conversation about how to bring the geothermal subject, not a geographic issue, but one for the state that includes currently developed potential and future geothermal fields, to try to figure out how to give geothermal its rightful place in the RPS. And also in the overall energy mix for the state, because it provides not only renewable, but renewable that is baseline and is producing at 3 in the morning when there's no wind and no sun. And I think that deserves consideration in terms of how we place it. Now, the word carve-out was used. That's probably too far in one direction we want to go, but we also want to make sure that it's not being edged out and left behind when it is such a vital resource. And I don't know, frankly, how you achieve that balance, but I think we need to try to get the interested legislators and interested producers of geothermal or potential producers of geothermal together to talk about common ground and then figure out what they in common need in order for us to maintain and develop geothermal as for its proper place in the array of renewables that we're developing and holding on to. We certainly don't want to be diminishing it as appears to be happening at the geysers. So anyway, I appreciate your flexibility and willingness to look at this more broadly than just your district, even though I also understand your primary concern here is the environmental, social, and economic aspects of what's going on the ground at Salton Sea. So I certainly will support the bill with this amendment and we'll work with you on the broader topic of how we give geothermal its appropriate place in the array of renewables. So other comments, questions? It's been moved. Ms. Garcia?
And I just wanted to second the motion and thank the member. We had some discussions, and I know whilst I've been on the other side, and it's frustrating to move, but he's done a lot of movement and a lot of working with the groups. And so while not everyone's in support yet, I'm confident he's going to get there. And so I just want to commend them for that work.
Thank you.
Mr. Patterson? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Semlin. I do appreciate the movement that's taken place, and I have been a no on this. Will still be a no, but I am optimistically looking at it with respect to getting it completely and fully put together. And if it gets to the floor and it has the components in it that some of the opponents have mentioned, I think it will be well received. And so I'm going to be a no, but that doesn't mean forever. And I really appreciate the hard work.
Thank you.
And thank you for it.
Any other comments? The one other thing I forgot to mention was, and several people touched on jobs, and we hard-fought effort in the RPS to try to maximize the benefit of the development of renewables in our state, with the jobs and the tax base and the economic benefit being concentrated here. And here we have this in-state existing resource that I think is one of the best opportunities for us to fulfill that part of the RPS responsibility. So that's another reason I'm strongly in support of geothermal and why we need to try to figure out how to make sure that the opportunity is not ignored or diminished. So would you like to close?
I'll take that as my close, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, well, no other comments or questions. Please call the roll.
Do pass to Appropriations Committee. Chesbro.
Aye.
Chesbro, aye. Grove. Bigelow.
Not voting.
Bigelow not voting. Garcia? Aye. Garcia, aye. Muratsuchi? Patterson? Not yet. No. Patterson, no. Skinner? Stone? Aye. Stone, aye. Williams? Aye. Williams, aye.
So it has 4, it needs 1 more, and we've got a couple of members who are not in the room at the moment, but we'll certainly, you're welcome to go try to find them, and we'll try to stay around until they're available to vote.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Finally, we have Mr. Salas, and it's item 3, AB 1104. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Bill's been moved. Is there a second? Been seconded by Ms. Garcia.
Great. Assembly Bill 1104 deals with existing pipelines for dairies. I think this is a win-win for renewable energy, using a natural product to move the state forward, and with that I request an aye vote, since it's been moved and seconded.
But he's accepted it.
It just hasn't come up, so
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Mr. Chair, I know you do have, the committee does have amendments to add a sunset. I am willing to accept those and appreciate the committee's input.
Thank you. Okay, witnesses in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Michael Bocador on behalf of the Ag Energy Consumers Association. We've worked very hard over the past number of years. Appreciate the efforts of the chair with AB 2196 trying to make biomethane a reality in California for dairy biogas. We think this bill could be potentially helpful as we move to that reality. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Karen Lang on behalf of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. The board acted yesterday to officially support and sponsor the bill, and we urge your aye vote today. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next witness.
Beth Olaso on behalf of the Bioenergy Association of California in support.
Okay, thank you. Any other supporters? Any opposition? Bill has been moved and seconded. Would you like to close?
Question.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We do have a question or a comment from Mr. Bigelow.
Comment and question. One, thank you very much for carrying this and for your great work on this item. The question I have is, could there be an inclusion for exemption for new dairies that exist to allow them the opportunity to partake in this
Yeah,
new pipelines?
as the legislation is, and Mr. Bocador could speak to this as well, but under the bill now, it's existing pipelines. But if there's a new dairy and they want to form a co-op where they want to work together and utilize methane digesters, then they're allowed to do that. In fact, I know there's several, even off the I-5, where they're doing that to make it all pencil out. You know, I don't know if you want to.
I would just chime in to say that we've had the discussion with staff, and we don't have all the answers to all the questions at this point, but we're going to try and gather those answers and to those questions, continue to work with Mr. Chesbro's staff, and if we can bring that without significant opposition back, then I think we'd like to entertain that conversation. It's unclear to us to the extent of existing pipelines in that four-county region. There was one company that had a large biomethane contract with PG&E in Kings County that went bankrupt, and so we never saw, this was really something they were very interested in, these existing pipelines. We do think the concept of new has some merit and would at least like to continue to explore it, so it's on our mind as well.
Well, I'd like to just get it on the table and get it out in the air so that we are discussing it, because I think it does seem appropriate to make it inclusionary here. So that's up to you guys to work on it. I'm still going to support you today.
Thank you.
Mr. Salas.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
I do
so for
believe
new
in it.
dairies, yes, and new pipelines, those
We'll
are
work.
discussions we're still having.
I get it. I just want to keep it out there.
Absolutely.
So, now would you like to close?
All right. Respectfully ask for an aye vote. Like I said, I believe this is a win-win for the environment, renewable energy, and our dairies.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Please call the roll.
Do pass with amendments to Appropriations Committee. Chesbro?
Aye.
Chesbro, aye. Grove? Bigelow?
Yes.
Bigelow, aye. Garcia? Garcia, aye. Muratsuchi? Muratsuchi, aye. Patterson? Patterson, aye. Skinner? Stone? Stone, no. Williams? Williams, aye.
6, it's out. And that concludes the consideration of bills. We have one that's on call. We'd like to, let's see.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Item 1, AB 177. It currently has 4 aye votes. Chairman voting aye. Please open the roll.
Muratsuchi? Muratsuchi, aye. Skinner?
Okay, that bill is out. And we have, the other members are free to go. We have one other that you might want to add on to, and that's Mr. Levine's bill, item 2, AB 288, and the vote is 5-0. The chairman voting aye.
Absent members, Muratsuchi? Muratsuchi, aye. Skinner? Williams? Williams, aye.
And I think that covers everything. Are we expecting Ms. Skinner?
Let's just stick around for
I
a
can,
couple
yeah,
minutes
sure.
to do add-ons.
Okay, members are free to go.
And I'll check. I don't.
Well, didn't you just vote on the third one? I think you were here for the, Yeah, I think we got all three. Yeah. So we will await the remaining members for a little while here to see if they're able to make it. So. Sure.
They said she wasn't coming back till 2:45 or 3, so I'm just going to double check.
Okay, just make sure that that's the case. And give her the opportunity.
She won't be back, so
Okay.
we can go ahead and adjourn.
Okay, Ms. Grove is ill and unable to attend, and Ms. Skinner has a conflict and apparently is not going to be able to come back to vote, so this concludes the hearing of the Natural Resources Committee.